All right, when working with the Montage, you have a lot of options. If we're guilty of anything, we've given you maybe too many options, huh? So one of the nice things about, we've been looking at AWM2, which is the sample-based engine. There are 8 waveforms that you can build into one single part. A lot of times people like to build these big sounds, all right? And you start to realize that at Yamaha, when we sample instruments, we sample individual instruments, but we also sample ensemble instruments. We also sample particular settings on an instrument. So we were talking about the B3 sound, where you might have a drawbar setting that you want to morph to another drawbar setting. So you have like a gospel organ type thing here, to a drawbar where there's an organ where the first 4 drawbars are pulled out, okay? So your typical beefy jazz type sound. And what the super knob is doing here is morphing between elements, all right? Not between parts now, but between elements. There's only 2 elements in this one sound, all right? So it's a sample of all 4 drawbars out, going to the gospel thing where you can hear the 1 foot is in prominent effect there. And what we're doing here with the super knob is morphing between those 2 conditions. So again, I'm going to hold Shift and Home to look at that overview. Now there are a couple of ways to get to the overview I should mention. All right, if we go back to the home screen, if you're on the home screen and you touch Motion Control Overview, that's another way to get there. All right, and what you see in the screen, you have controller, assignable, fader, and super knob. I'm going to remove the faders so that we can see what's going on. And you can see that part 1, all right, has the first 2 knobs linked to the super knob. All right, so I'm looking at part 1. You can see 2 green things, the assignables, and then the blue to the super knob. And this little box here, Edit Part 1 Control Settings, is a shortcut. I don't have to remember I need to hit Edit, go to Part 1, hit this button. You can go straight from the overview right to the assigned screen. Boom, and you're there. Here's assignable knob 1, and you can see I'm doing element level, all right? So no, element level. Each of the waveforms is what we call an element. It has its own volume control. So you can imagine now that assignable knob 1 is assigned to control element 1. Notice that it's off for element 2. You can see here that this voice is only 2 elements. Down here in the bottom of the screen, you'll see common 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are your 8 waveforms. The ones that are lit up, 1 and 2, signifies there are only 2 elements in this voice. The other one I mentioned is under assigned knob 2. Notice it has the opposite curve. So assigned knob 1, you can see it's going to be turned up while the other one is turned down. So this is a way in which we're morphing. Notice also, this is controlling element 1. This is controlling element 2, where element 1 is off. So as you move the super knob, you're morphing from one condition to the other. All right, so let's take a look at the elements here. You can see that this element is a gospel tone wheel, all right, organ, and element 2 is the first 4 drawbars pulled out. So with just 2 elements, I am able to accomplish this morphing between 2 organ sounds. So don't always think that you have to build 9 drawbars to accomplish what you want. Go through the waveforms, and you can do that by simply touching the waveform and doing a search. And you'll start to realize, my goodness, look at this. All of the waveforms are here. There's a 16 foot, there's a 5 1/3, there's your 8 foot, the 4 foot, the 2, you know. So if you know about Hammond organ, how glorious is this? You can get at all of these waveforms immediately and build your own custom organs. You don't have to have all the drawbars and then pull some down to 0. What a waste of an oscillator. I learned on a big room-filling modular synthesizer where each oscillator costs thousands of dollars. So, you know, it would be, how wasteful would it be to put up 8 oscillators and say, oh, I'm going to put this one at 0 and put that one at 0. You know, you'd have a hole in your pocket. See, if you have to pay for each of these oscillators, that limits you. But you know, if you think creatively, if you know the sound you want, pick the drawbars you want, set it up. You can do it within one part, all right? Some people will use all 8 parts. Fine, you can do that. But let's say I want to also have an organ, a piano, strings, a lead sound, all right? Economics, the smarter you are, the smarter the montage is.